Welcome everyone to the February 7th, we'll wait. Well, we're waiting then. We will hold. Welcome everyone to the Welcome everyone. Tonight is Tuesday, February 7th, 2023, and this is the regular meeting with executive session of the Litchfield Governing Board. I call this meeting to order. First up on the agenda is going to be the Pledge of Allegiance, and we are going to have that led by some of our students who were recent winners at our district spelling bee. If you guys want to stand up. Thank you guys for leading that for us. Next, we are going to have a moment of silent reflection. Okay, thank you. And next up on the agenda, we're going to start with our recognitions and celebrations, and this is going to be done by Mr. Nuanez.
Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Gunning, and guest. My word tonight is celebrate. C-E-L-E-B-R-A-T-E. Word of origin from Latin celebrus, from Middle English celebratum, meaning to praise widely or to present to a widespread and favorable public notice through newspaper, novels, and in this case, a board meeting. Now, let me use that in a sentence. Tonight, we gather here to celebrate 4 outstanding students. Callista Taladan, 8th grader at Verado Middle School. Sunny Pena, 8th grade at Belen Soto Elementary. Natalia Lee, 8th grade at Verado Heritage Elementary. And Gaia Reed, 8th grade at Western Sky Middle School. These bright young students rose to the top of our district spelling bee and will be representing LESD at the regional spelling bee on February 11th at Yonker High School in Buckeye. Let us celebrate not only their astute spelling abilities, but their courage to step up in front of an auditorium full of people and other students and spell words correctly, which I use spell check every time I write as a communication professional. So we are extremely proud of you and we celebrate you tonight. Step up here. Step up here. We'll take a quick picture.
Before we move on, if I can just say one quick thing, I will address this in my board report as well, but we have less attendance at the end of the meeting when we go in board report. So I think I'll do this now. The district spelling bee is one of my favorite events of the year. And I'll tell a very, very short story, but my very first year on the board, I was invited to attend the spelling bee and to be a judge. I didn't exactly know what that meant, but I thought, well, I don't know how to spell, but their words are going to be in front of me. So I think I got this job in lock. And I show up and they give me the bell. And for anyone who's ever been to the spelling bee, no one wants to hear the bell, right? Because that's means that you got it wrong and you have to sit down and your turn is over. And I thought, this is the worst job anyone could have ever given me. So I didn't go back next. No, I'm just kidding. I did. I go back every year. I totally enjoy it. And they no longer give me the bell, but I do sit and I watch every round. And I want to say congratulations to the four of you and best of luck representing us at the regional competition this weekend. But also to note, there are 4 8th graders here tonight, which is not surprising, right? They've had the most spelling under their belt. But in the last round, there were at least 2 that I can remember, maybe 3 5th graders in that last round that did an amazing job and just blew it out of the water. And I think we were there for 6 or 7 rounds this last time. So congratulations, you guys did a fantastic job. And it is pretty nerve-wracking standing up in front of an entire auditorium of fellow students, teachers, administrators, your parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles. I mean, the whole thing is full, but you guys did a fantastic job and congratulations.
I just want to echo what Ms. Clymer said. You guys did a fantastic job. I learned some new words that I didn't know while we were there. We were looking them up to see what they were even. And I learned how to spell some things. And I was super impressed with how well you guys did. You guys know the rules and you could see them thinking their gears going while they were trying to figure out how to spell the word. So I was super impressed. You guys should be really proud of yourselves. And I'm sure you guys are going to represent this district well when you guys go to the regional competition. Thank you guys. So next up on our agenda is going to be the Care Room and Behavior Tech presentation by Heather Rulin and Karina Whalen.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us, Madam President, governing board members, Superintendent Gunning, and guests. We are very excited to be here. I myself am very honored to be asked to speak to you guys today about this amazing topic. Oh, I'm not loud enough, clearly. So I'm Karina Whalen. I'm a behavior coach at Scott Libby Elementary School. I was honored to start in our district a handful of years ago as a behavior instructional assistant and slowly work my way up while I got my degree. And I'm super honored to be able to present some of this data to you today as well. And then my colleague.
Hi, I'm Heather Rulin. I have been in the district for almost 20 years now, enjoying my wonderful time at LTH currently as a student advisor.
So we're going to go ahead and go through a presentation that we put together with both ourselves and Ms. Duplain to kind of give you some information on what the care room is and what the behavior tech position consists of. So post-COVID, most school districts across the nation were reporting an increase in children with missing behavior skills. And obviously Litchfield School District was no exception to this. And so because of that, we were able to, and as you'll see coming up, implement a few different, a position and a care room as well. Some of the data that you're going to see presented right here, this is an increase in student behaviors that were noticed. And this is data pulled from a National Center for Education Statistics, and that information is listed below. So classroom disruptions, we saw a 56% increase in student misconduct. Acts of disrespect towards teachers and staff, that was a 48% increase as well. Rowdiness outside of the classroom, that was 49% increase. And then the prohibited use of electronic devices, we saw a 42% increase in this area as well. So to address these needs, Litchfield School District hired behavior technicians, and we implemented and created care rooms on our campuses. So a quick breakdown of what a behavior technician is, and we'll also go introduce you here shortly to some behavior technicians and kind of break down what those look like on our individual campuses. So they receive monthly training on evidence-based behavior strategies, applied behavior analysis, and trauma response approaches. They work directly with the site's behavior coaches and student advisors to receive coaching and ongoing support. They work one-on-one or in small group settings to support children's acquisition of the missing behavior skills. Our care rooms, they provide a safe place for children to de-escalate and practice self-regulation skills in order to get them back to learning in their classrooms. They provide a place for small groups of children to learn and practice these missing behavior skills together. They provide a calm and private environment for our children to go when they are in a behavioral crisis. All right, so Heather is going to go ahead and introduce her care room.
So our behavior tech on our campus is Miss Dawn Mosier. She was a member of our Pride since 2018. She began with us teaching reading intervention, and her amazing talent and being able to connect with students along with her calming presence made her our first choice for our behavior tech. Miss Mosier has created a safe environment, inviting environment for all students across our campus. And she's been working both one-on-one and in groups to teach calming strategies and how to make positive choices both in and out of the classroom. In our Lion's Den, upon entering, students go through the 5 steps of self-regulation, and then they choose an activity based upon what they need specifically in that moment. So she has multiple options throughout her room. She has puzzles where a student could be seen sitting at the table. She will join them and be able to talk through whatever the upset might be in the moment. She has a comfy couch where often advisors will bring 2 students that might need to mediate to that location, so they have a safe place to be able to talk through their upset with one another. There is a drawing and coloring zone. She has many of fidgets and brain teasers that she offers to our students. A reading and journaling zone is actually one that was inspired by her students themselves. They began to start writing positive affirmations in notebooks for other students to read when they were in times of crisis. Her exercise zone can very often be found being utilized by our students with a lot of energy, and they go right in and get started. She has exercise bands, hula hoops, weights, all kinds of, some kids will even challenge each other to the amount of push-ups that they could do just to exert some energy and be reset and ready to get back to class. Miss Mosier has also provided a very safe lunch space for all students at each grade level. She has a handful of students that will come in, and these might be students that either just for a few days are struggling with some social anxieties with discourse with peers, and they would like a safe place to be during their lunchtime. Others, it is just the loudness in the cafeteria that is just too much, and they prefer a calm, quieter space. And you could walk into her room during a lunchtime hour and find students in different groups working on different activities, sometimes just socializing. Other times when we have a new student, she'll partner them up with a group of kids that existing come in and do some conversation starters to help build some friendships with some new students that might be on our campus. Some testimonials from some students on our campus. We did ask them to do a little survey. Just to I asked them the question, how has the Lion's Den or Miss Mosier helped you this year? And a few of our students responded with, it has helped me to control my nervous feeling at school and I'm doing good. That particular student is one that we really struggled with during 6th grade, but now in 7th grade, she has her check-ins twice a day with Miss Mosier, and that is it. She's not in the classroom at all anymore. While last year, her number of minutes in Miss Mosier's Lion's Den were very high, but it has really decreased this year because they've been working on strategies specifically to her. The Lion's Den has helped me to think when I cannot think in a physical classroom, and it helps me to relax and cool off. So if I'm ever mad, and helps to keep me from getting in school suspension. That was a very honest statement from a student that is struggling with some anger. But he is able to recognize when he's got those triggers, and he knows where to go and what to do in those moments. So thank you, guys.
All right, so I'll go ahead and introduce mine. Mine looks very similar. We do work hand in hand at our monthly meetings with our behavior coaches and student advisors to share all this amazing brilliance with each other so that we can kind of create a very structured look to our care rooms and the components within that. Mine might be a little bit more colorful. I am in an elementary school, so I get the littles. So we call ours Chillville, Rocky's Chillville to be specific because of our Roadrunner. So Chillville is designed to support how our brain responds to challenges and struggles. Our room is set up in 3 different components, each modeling after the brain. So knowing that some children might come in more of a survival state, brain state, where they need a little extra, much like the exercise that she mentioned. The brain might need a little bit more physical exertion. So you'll see that modeled in these pictures below. We also have another part of the brain. If they come in and maybe they're still in that higher level of their brain, but they need a little conflict resolution, or they need to work on some different components with peers. We have a station in that classroom for that as well. And then we have more of the part of the brain where they're seeking that connection and they need that support to get through those emotional challenges. So that is also mirrored in the care room as well. So once they enter the room, it is very structured, and we model it after our classroom setting. So that way, when we incorporate and we transition them back into the classroom setting, that it is the same. So when kids come in, they first start with going through the different steps, which is some of it is modeled in this picture, but in the next slide, you'll see it a little bit closer. Up on the board, it's student-led, but adult support by Ms. Knapp, our behavior tech. In there, they go through the different parts where they're at in their brain, what they need in that moment, and work through that. It is set up to as well that an exit ticket is done at the door, much like when we know that our students have mastered a concept in the classroom, we provide them with kind of a double check to make sure that that skill is mastered. We do the same thing in our care room before they exit and return to class. So that way, as the behavior coach or as the behavior interventionist, that we know that they have mastered that skill, or that they are ready to implement that skill back in their classroom setting. So we are setting those students up for success, as well as their peers and their teacher in their classroom. The goal of the care room is to assist in regulating the child and returning them to their classroom so they can access that curriculum and those academics with their peers and their teacher as quickly as possible, but with also providing them with what they need in that moment, because we know that the brain needs to be in that mindset to be able to access that brilliance and learn. And if they're not quite there yet, then we need to help them get there. And this room gives us that ability. So our care room, this kind of outlines some of the different ways we also use it on our campus for a teacher resource as well. So myself, I take the data and I have linked some of these things on here for you to view at a later time if you would like, some of the different forms and the different ways I collect data in my care room. I use that in my whole child and my RTI process to support student intervention, to see, teachers will bring that to us, and then I will look at that to support or see where I need to guide those classroom interventions looking at that process. Data is also used to further support my coaching and professional development on our campus. So if I start to notice a slight increase in some of that data in certain areas, maybe we have a lot more conflict happening, or we have a little bit more emotional dysregulation happening in the classroom, I can notice that trend in the data, and I can start on my own proactively putting in some of that coaching support on our campus to figure out how to decrease some of that. We also hold small groups with our students on our campus, all grade levels. We teach groups of peers topics such as making friends, safe play, kind interaction with peers, utilizing our Lions Quest curriculum, as well as a few other amazing components that we have on our campus. That also helps, much like Heather mentioned, with sometimes making friends. We have friends that students sometimes that have a hard time understanding appropriate play and different things like that. So that gives us the opportunity to teach that with their peers, because we know students a lot of times learn best from each other as well, and practicing those skills in the moment. We have had a drastic reduction in office referrals reported this year with the implementation of our care room and our technician. I've been able to kind of collect some of that data and kind of see the trends here with the data. Once the care room was put into place, the office referrals started coming down because we were proactively meeting those students' needs and teaching them replacement skills. And so, like I mentioned before, down here, you'll see our Chillville check-in form, and the video on the next page, you'll see that it didn't pop up, but it might be on your guys's. You can watch that at another time. It's me taking you through our entire care room. And I also use that for training and some other things as well. So our teachers know exactly what their students are doing when they enter our care room and they're working with us directly. Oh, there it is. All right. So Ms. Knapp, who I'm very grateful for showing up tonight in support. So she is amazing. She started at Scott Libby in 2019. She started working in our developmental preschool. She gained training and knowledge working with all the amazing children in a classroom setting. During COVID, Ms. Knapp was given an opportunity to work in many different roles, and she fell in love with supporting our students and teachers. Ms. Knapp's background has also given her experience in group homes across Arizona, making her the perfect fit for our behavior technician position. Ms. Knapp has created an amazing, safe, connected environment in her classroom we call Rocky's Chillville. She structured and modeled every aspect of using the room for the students, Further, she works one-on-one with struggling students as well in group settings with students needing to practice replacement skills. Ms. Knapp has a heart for connecting and teaching children to regulate by modeling and practicing in her classroom daily. She runs 6 social groups, varying grade levels twice weekly, while also providing push and support to classroom teachers to observe and model replacement skills for our students. She provides in-the-moment response and a safe place for us to regulate children to get them back to the classroom in their executive state, ready to access their brilliance. So much like I said with the littles, you get some colorful pictures here as well for some feedback. So I asked our students what Chillville has helped them with. We also, it was actually really cute. The word got around that I was passing out these cute little pink slips, and more started showing up on my desk. And then I started getting sticky notes on my door in the morning with more kids wanting to give me feedback on how Chillville has helped them, and Miss Knapp specifically. So you'll see some really cute ones in there. We kind of wrote on the bottom if you needed us to decipher some of that cute little kinder handwriting. But some of the ones that really made me feel just amazing was, talking to friends, being able to communicate with their peers. And we sometimes take that for granted that they just kind of know how to do that. And there's a lot of kids that need just a little extra help from us with that. Controlling my emotions, feeling safe at my school, stress, sadness, madness, anger. I just love that they were able to identify all of those emotions and know that we're helping them with that. You'll of course get the girl drama in there, which we always love a good conflict resolution moment. Being nice and positive. There was one on there too that said, it's not just the Chillville, it's Miss Knapp. So you'll see that in there too. I was like, oh, I love that. So now we'd like to open it up to any questions that you might have for us.
First, thank you so much for this presentation. I think it's great for us to hear what you guys are doing. We hear about it a lot as board members and we see information, but I think it's good for the community to hear what's happening. So I appreciate that you did that. I will start with Ms. Moran. Do you have any questions for them or comments?
Yes, I do have a few questions. I echo what President Zeidemus said. Thank you for putting this presentation together. I was one of the board members that requested this because we've seen these behavior techs and care rooms in action on our school tours. And I think it's just important to let folks know what we are doing to help specifically